Good morning and welcome to the EXIM Coronavirus Response for Small Business call. My name is Luke Lindberg, Senior Vice President for External Engagement here at the Export-Import Bank of the United States. We appreciate you joining today's call and look forward to sharing some of our insights about our small business opportunities, particularly in light of the coronavirus crisis or pandemic that's happening right now. It's my pleasure to start the call with Chairman Kimberly Reed, followed by Senior Vice President of the Office of Small Business, Jim Burrows, followed by Steve Freshour, the Vice President of Business Credit, followed by Amy Shinkman, Vice President of Export Credit Insurance, and rounding us off today will be Elizabeth Thomas, Business Development Specialist in the Office of Outreach and Education inside of our small business team. To begin the call, President and Chairman Kimberly Reed, please join.
Good morning. It's so great to be with all of you. I hope your families and your friends are staying safe and healthy during this difficult time. I'm so proud of our 400-person workforce at EXIM. We have successfully moved to telecommuting, and we remain open and committed to our mission of supporting U.S. jobs through exports, especially those through great small businesses around our country. On March 12th, we announced initial relief provisions for exporters and financial institutions that may be affected by the outbreak. They include waivers, deadline extensions, streamlined processing, and flexibility. And then last week, our EXIM Board of Directors met for our first ever completely telephonic Board of Directors meeting. Some of you may have been on that call. Also joining the call were our ex officio members, Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross and U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Robert Lighthizer. At the board meeting, the board unanimously passed a resolution that affirmed further temporary relief policies to alleviate the impact of COVID-19 on U.S. exporters, their buyers, financial institutions, and American workers. Those include a bridge financing program, a pre-export financing program, supply chain financing guarantee program, and a working capital guarantee program. And then yesterday, and if you have not signed up to receive our press releases, you can do that on our website under news releases, but you should have received in your inbox this morning what the board did yesterday, which was approving a $91.5 million loan guarantee for export financing for a renewable energy rural electrification project in Senegal that supports 500 U.S. jobs across 14 states through a small business called Weldy Lamont. So we just want to be sure that you know that we're here for everyone, and we are committed to all we can do. So as Luke Lindberg stated, we've asked several EXIM staff to update you on the measures and support that we can be doing for America's small businesses. And so with that, I will turn it over to Jim Burrows.
Thank you, Chairman Reed. Good morning. This is Jim Burrows, Senior Vice President in the Office of Small Business at the Export-Import Bank of the United States. EXIM recognizes that the COVID-19 pandemic around the world has left many in difficult situations. Our thoughts are with each of you, and we hope you, your family, and your friends are and stay in good health. During these challenging times, we're committed to our mission of supporting U.S. jobs through exports. EXIM's open and operational, and we'll continue to do everything we can to support our American businesses and workers. To safeguard our staff, as Chairman Reed had mentioned, EXIM's workforce is teleworking and stands ready to serve U.S. exporters during the crisis. We have roughly 80 hardworking staffers dedicated to assisting small businesses here at EXIM. Since Chairman Reed and her fellow board members were sworn in on May 9th, through the close of business yesterday, the agency has authorized roughly 1,635 small business transactions totaling $1.7 billion, supporting thousands and thousands of American jobs throughout the United States. The Office of Small Business has three main operating objectives. First, to ensure our products meet our client needs. The agency is always looking for ways to improve existing products and identify gaps in the private sector. At last week's EXIM board meeting, The board was updated on enhancements made to several EXIM programs to assist exporters and lenders during the COVID-19 liquidity crisis. Steve Freshour, the Vice President of Business Credit here at EXIM, and his team work with lenders to administer the Working Capital Guarantee and Supply Chain Finance programs. Steve will review changes to these programs in a few minutes. Second, the agency is continually looking for ways to find new clients, including finding better data sources, leveraging our multiplier networks, and using the latest technology and social media channels to enhance our outreach and education to exporters, lenders, insurance brokers, and other EXIM partners. Elizabeth Thomas, our Business Development Specialist and Director of Outreach and Education, will review a number of these efforts later in this call. Third, we strive to create the best transactional environment for our customers, ongoing enhancements to our programs, enrich overall client experience, and increase the ease of doing business. Amy Shinkman, our Vice President of Export Credit Insurance, and her team will work with businesses and insurance brokers to underwrite all short-term insurance policies here at EXIM. And in a few minutes, Amy will review recent changes made to the short-term programs to assist policyholders during the crisis. The most important programs for small businesses can be classified into two categories here at EXIM: pre-export financing, the Working Capital Guarantee Program, and post-export finance, the export credit insurance programs. We have a dedicated team of export professionals that work throughout the U.S. that are standing ready to support you. For a list of field offices and staff that can help you, please visit our website at exim.gov/contact. We also work closely with partners at hundreds of insurance brokers and lenders around the United States. Our partners are also listed and contact information on our website. EXIM recognizes that in the months following the COVID outbreak, exporting may be a challenge for many of our nation's businesses, especially American small businesses. EXIM staffers are working tirelessly to ensure our nation has the proper programs in place to provide U.S. exporters with the financing and other products necessary to export made in the U.S. goods and services. Steve Freshour will now, from our Business Credit Division, will go over the Working Capital Guarantee and Supply Chain Finance programs and update you on enhancements made last week to those programs to assist exporters during the COVID-19 liquidity crisis. With that, I'll turn it over to Steve.
Good morning. This is Steve Freshour, VP of Business Credit. I'm going to be presenting temporary relief measures proposed by Business Credit for both the Supply Chain Finance Guarantee Program and the Working Capital Guarantee Program. First, I'll cover the Supply Chain Finance Guarantee Program. For a little bit of background, EXIM has a Supply Chain Finance Guarantee Program that was created in 2010 that provides a 90% guarantee to lenders funding the supply chain. It hasn't been used much in recent years due to some restrictive terms and ample liquidity in the market. These types of programs have been run in recent years by lenders without any guarantee. In a nutshell, the Supply Chain Finance Guarantee Program allows the suppliers of a U.S. exporter to get paid in a matter of days, preserving their cash flow, and allows the U.S. exporter to delay payment of their payables, preserving their cash flow. Recent discussions with banks and exporters have revealed new interest for EXIM support of supply chain finance. In order to make the program more widely available to suppliers, Business Credit is suggesting the following temporary changes to the program. One of those is to allow U.S. exporters to sell directly to their foreign affiliates rather than requiring sales to be directly to a foreign buyer. A lender that we spoke with asked about this because this is sometimes how U.S. distribution operations are set up when they're exporting. We've also been requested that we temporarily increase our guarantee from 90 to 100%, and this is something that we will be analyzing internally for discussion. Historically, we've required a 50% target of small business suppliers in the supply chain, and some banks have asked us for flexibility in this area, which we are ready to provide. But I wanted to let everybody know, as a small business participating in the supplier as a supplier in the supply chain is a great way to access capital at affordable rates and preserve cash flow. The measures that we're implementing in this program will make the program more widely available to suppliers and U.S. exporters, and will also hope to entice lenders to make more supply chain financing available. Next, I'll cover the Working Capital Guarantee Program. The Working Capital Guarantee Program is an existing program that was established in the 80s and provides a 90% guarantee to lenders making credit facilities available to U.S. exporters. It allows U.S. exporters to borrow against their export-related inventory and accounts receivable. The majority of the transactions are authorized under delegated authority, where banks have individual authority to authorize these loans and close them without our prior consent. We've seen a lot more interest in delegated authority lending, even pre-COVID-19, from lenders now due to the 7-year reauthorization. Due to liquidity concerns raised through conversations with our DA lenders, Business Credit is suggesting the following temporary measures. We'd like to expand the definition of inventory to include all inventory that could be potentially exported. U.S. exporters may have inventory that is not specifically earmarked for export, but because it could potentially be exported, we would allow for them to leverage against it in the borrowing base and increase their borrowing availability. That means small business exporters would be allowed to borrow up to 75% of their potentially exportable inventory. We would also like to expedite the rollout of the new fee structure. This will provide cheaper access to capital for small businesses. We've also been asked by lenders to temporarily increase the guarantee from 90 to 100%. Again, this is something that we're considering internally. We'd also like to communicate that we can support loan guarantees that are made directly to foreign subsidiaries, so long as the U.S. parent is a co-borrower on the loan. This is something that we've always allowed, but we wanted to clear a misconception that in some cases we weren't allowed to do that. These modifications will increase access to capital for U.S. exporters by expanding their borrowing base, and we hope to entice lenders to make more capital available through working capital loans and make the program more affordable for U.S. exporters. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We're now going to turn the program over to Amy Shinkman from our Export Credit Insurance Unit. She's going to give you a brief overview of the trade credit insurance programs here at XM and discuss changes to the short-term programs as a result of the pandemic. Amy?
Good morning, everyone. This is Amy Shinkman. I'm the Vice President of the Export Credit Insurance Division here at XM Bank. We sit in the small business group, as Jim mentioned, and we underwrite all of the short-term export credit insurance policies here at XM Bank. Short-term export credit insurance covers non-payment by a foreign buyer who's purchasing U.S. goods and services on credit terms of less than 1 year. So we're really insuring any good or service where medium and long-term financing is not required, where you expect that the foreign buyer will be using or reselling the product in a short period of time. We support a wide variety of industries, from agricultural commodities and foodstuffs to manufactured goods, consumer products, or engineering services. There's 3 main reasons that companies come to us for export and credit insurance. The first is a risk mitigation benefit. So this is where you have a U.S. company, particularly a small business, who may not be comfortable with the risk of offering credit to foreign buyers without insurance. Buying our policy allows them to do that with comfort. The second benefit is that our export credit insurance helps U.S. businesses compete if their foreign competitors are offering credit terms, and they need to be able to offer credit terms in order to win the export sale. Finally, many U.S. banks often exclude foreign receivables as collateral for loans or won't finance against foreign receivables without credit insurance. So in many cases, our short-term credit insurance policies are assigned to banks and allow the exporter to get a financing benefit. So through these various offerings, we're supporting XM Bank's mission of jobs through exports. We're also supporting XM Bank's commitment to small businesses, with over 75% of our support going directly to small business exporters. We have a variety of policy types, from multi-buyer policies for exporters, where we're covering all of their short-term export credit sales, or select risk policies for exporters, whether it's our Export Express reasonable spread of risk policy. We also offer single buyer policies to exporters, where we're covering their sales to just one buyer. In the past few weeks, we have begun a few different programs to try to serve our policyholders who are suffering because of the current pandemic. On March 12th, we issued a press release that talked about some streamlined processes for renewals for our current clients. So this is where a lot of our clients have annual policies. They come up for renewal once a year. We typically ask for financials or accounts receivables aging and processing those renewals. And what we're doing now is, particularly if our clients themselves are all teleworking or struggling, can't get financials to us, can't get the information to us, we're doing our best to renew those policies without all the information that we usually have. Also, in recognition of this same situation, in that press release, we extended various deadlines under our short-term policies for paying premium, reporting shipments, filing claims, to give our exporters more time to do that later when hopefully this has passed. So trying to be flexible there. Then last week, we also issued guidance in a letter from our Senior Vice President, Jim Burrows, where we're also understanding that many of our exporters' foreign buyers are in similar difficult situations. So we've allowed our exporters to offer their foreign buyers up to 90-day extensions on their invoices that come due between February and June. And what we're really trying to do there is recognize that many of our exporters' foreign buyers are also themselves potentially not working, all on telework, maybe have closed down their factory for a few months, and we want to do what we can to preserve those exporters' relationships with those buyers so that they can still be there for their customers when this is all over. So at the same time as allowing the payment extension, we've also allowed them a 90-day extension to file their claim with us in the hopes that they'll be able to work things out with their customers and continue U.S. business. So those are the main points I wanted to mention, but I'm happy to take questions later in the call or offline if anyone has anything else they'd like to ask.
Thank you, Amy. I just want to reiterate that all our program enhancements that Steve and Amy went over are in place currently now and available to all U.S. exporters and our multipliers. I'm going to now turn it over to Elizabeth Thomas, who will now review EXIM's outreach and education programs to support our exporting communities. Elizabeth?
Thank you, Jim. Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Thomas, and I'm the Director of Outreach and Education in EXIM's Office of Small Business. This morning, I would like to share with you some of the ways that we are supporting the growth of U.S.-based jobs by educating small and medium-sized businesses on export opportunities. Specifically, I will discuss how we are increasingly leveraging digital outreach to stay in touch with businesses across the country during the present crisis. In the past, an important component of educating businesses on EXIM support for exporting relied in part on individual, high-touch communications, basically meeting and speaking to company representatives one-on-one or in groups, often in collaboration with other federal government agencies, public-private partnerships like the District Export Councils, state and local economic development agencies, academic institutions, and the like. Obviously, in-person interactions are not an option in the present circumstances. So we have increased our use of automated digital platforms to stay connected with small businesses during this time of social distancing. Digital outreach is simply a combination of strategies and electronic tools that are used to reach targeted audiences with content that is relevant to their specific business needs. The Office of Small Business team is driving communication strategies and tactics forward with three goals in mind. The first is to be proactive to the needs of the community of small business exporters. The second is to drive as much normalcy and business as usual as possible. And the third is to maintain a robust pipeline of actions to keep business moving forward during uncertain times. Some of the specific actions we are taking include contacting over 56,000 small businesses, offering guidance for those who are concerned about non-payment by foreign buyers due to the effects of the coronavirus. We are recording a 3-part audio series on actions that small businesses can take immediately to protect their financial assets and generate cash flow. The topics include receivables financing, protecting receivables from non-payment by foreign buyers, and negotiating sales terms in uncertain times. Each of these interviews will be featured in blog posts, email blasts, and on social media. We are also creating a series of 3 to 4 minute audio-visual interviews with small business exporters who will discuss the role exporting is playing in the current business environment and why exporting continues to be a key strategy for growth. Again, these videos will be shared in blog posts, email blasts, and through social media. Webinars continue to be an important tool to communicate with large audiences, and we are partnering with organizations whose member companies are interested in learning about resources that are available to support them. Two upcoming examples are webinars with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership Valet Program for Exporters and a webinar with the Western United States Agricultural Trade Association. And the last thing I will mention is that COVID-19 is driving demand for products in some market segments, and we are engaging with associations and organizations in industries whose member companies are experiencing increase in international inquiries as a result of COVID-19, including in the areas of life sciences and cleaning equipment manufacturers. This concludes my remarks, and Jim, I will turn it back to you.
Great. Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm now going to turn it back to Luke Lindberg, our SVP of External Engagement.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Elizabeth, for running through those important remarks. We certainly appreciate your ongoing commitment to helping our nation's small businesses export their goods and services around the world. I'll take a quick minute here to recognize that we did receive a number of questions from folks who registered and would love to have the opportunity to respond to some of those questions. Unfortunately, the time is a little bit tight here today to do so on this call. Instead, our team will be reaching out to respond to your questions at some point during the next 24 to 48 hours. We will make sure to mark all of the questions we received and get responses out to folks as quickly as possible. If you have additional questions you would like to have answered, don't hesitate to reach out to external@ex-im.gov, and our team would be more than happy to filter your questions to the appropriate parties internally at Export-Import Bank and get you responses. Additionally, I'd like to highlight our coronavirus response page on our website that includes a number of fact sheets that outline a good bit of the detailed information provided today, as well as some other efforts that EXIM is taking to approach larger businesses and more businesses broadly than just the small business community. That website is www.exim.gov/coronavirus/response. So feel free to check that out as well. Chairman Reed, I'd like to give you an opportunity to make any closing comments you would like to do today. Thank you.
Again, I want to say thank you to all of the presenters today and to all of our small businesses. It's our goal to help you be successful, and I know that you know that the Trump administration is doing a lot for small business, so we are an important tool in the toolbox of all the solutions. So also look at SBA's website and the White House's website, but we're here for you. Please send us your comments. Also let us know what we might do as we look to additional measures. If there are things that could be helpful to help you succeed at this time, please email us or call us and let us know. And I want to wish everyone well. This is recorded and will be posted, and we will continue to stay in touch. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Stay healthy, stay safe. This concludes today's call.